it's more of an off-season thing. Oh.
That's how we go tonight. It's a late one here for the JT Sports Show, episode 33. You heard the voice. That's Lewis Crosby. He is back. Jackson Borst is back. You can see his name. Redeem yourself, Connolly. Yes, the Wolves lost tonight. I was just at the game. So I don't know. We might talk a little Wolves at the end, but we're going to try to stay away just because it's so raw right now. They just lost in overtime, and it's really depressing. But we're going to talk about the NFL.
You got to light the beam, though, Tuck.
No, the Kings are no. No. Too many turnovers. Spread offense killed them. Rudy Gobert should have sat in overtime, but Finch said he couldn't do that, or he should have done it. He didn't do it. Either way, we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs this past weekend. There were 2 games. I have some thoughts on the second game because it was just disappointing to watch. The first game, Eagles and the 49ers, was also entertaining for its own reasons. But, fellas, how are we doing on this late Monday night?
I'm doing good. I enjoyed the night game of football last night, but It was a bit of a snooze fest, and I actually muted the game with about 10 minutes left in it because it got to be such a snooze fest.
Yeah, Tony Romo was bad. Real bad.
Yeah.
And Greg Olsen, I think Greg Olsen's good.
Jack has been on that for the whole year, by the way. Jack has been texting me every single game that Tony Romo does and says he hates his guts.
Some pretty derogatory comments. I might.
Well, you're not afraid to put out some derogatory comments every now and then over text messages, and I know firsthand.
I never do that.
No, I know firsthand. But Tony Romo, his first year, it was like I don't know. Everyone was so amazed at how he could predict plays and. Oh, Jim, look what he did. That's what he would do every time. But, yeah, I don't know. Tony Romo, he talks too much.
He's yelling over Jim now.
He talks too much, and he just thinks he knows everything.
You know what's a shame is that once Brady retires, Greg Olsen's getting kicked out of the Fox booth.
Yeah. Greg Olsen's good. I like him.
So maybe, there'll be a deal where he could, go to a different network or what, but I feel like they all have –
We'll probably just
have these long-term deals.
We'll probably just take the second best game.
Tom Brady is either going to be really good or really bad.
I don't think he's going to be very good.
I don't know. I think he'll be solid. Do you think well, we can talk about that later regarding Tom Brady, but let's talk about the first game, Eagles 49ers. It was unbelievable because Josh Johnson was playing quarterback for most of the game. People didn't know what was wrong with Brock Purdy. They came out today and they said he's going to be out 6 months and he probably needs surgery. So quite honestly, the fact that he came back in the game for a few plays was pretty impressive. I felt bad for him. I really did, because that was an opportunity for him to guarantee himself the starting job next year. And now it's like, is he going to be the starter? Are they going to go a different direction? I'm not sure. But the Eagles sort of had it their way for probably the right reason, given that Josh Johnson was playing quarterback.
Yeah, and you got to feel bad for Brock because everyone on Twitter was like, oh, he's standing on the sideline, should be able to come in the game, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out he has this 6-month injury, and he still came back in the game and even threw a couple passes.
I knew something was bad because there's no chance he would be careful or it had to be some sort of bad injury. And he did come in and he threw a screen pass, so that was impressive.
Yeah, that game just sucked for everyone who was not from Philadelphia. Just because I was so excited to watch that game. It was going to be just a classic, I thought, and it was ruined about 3 minutes in. Or not 3 minutes in, but whatever it was when Purdy got his arm murdered.
I think even the way it did end up going, I think that the Eagles would have won either way. They were just they were getting a lot of pressure on Purdy early, and he was going to fold.
Yeah, I'm going to pat myself on the back here and maybe even throw my hat into the Denver Broncos coaching ring, because as soon as Devontae Smith caught that pass to get to the 3-yard line, I said challenge that. Mm-hmm. There is because even if it's a 50-50 shot that he might have bobbled it or whatever, that's an impossible catch going to the ground. And even if there's a 50-50 shot, the worst thing that happens is you lose a timeout in the first quarter. It's not like you're in the third quarter, fourth quarter, where these timeouts are more important.
Yeah.
But it's the first quarter, and teams call timeout to avoid false starts, or not false starts, excuse me. delay of games.
Mm-hmm.
And so why can't you just call a timeout? And if you waste a timeout, you waste timeout. But if not, you get the ball on the 45-yard line.
Yeah. No, that was a mistake by Shanahan.
I think that's on Shanahan.
Definitely a mistake by Shanahan. But the only
Shanahan
thing
is known for blowing it in big games at times, even though this wasn't really him. But if you challenge that, that's some sliding doors moments, and that maybe the quarterback injury doesn't happen and the whole game would be different. But
the only thing is, from what I remember, I feel like they didn't show that one angle where it was super clear until like way late.
No, they didn't. But even so, I just think, like, why not?
The angles, I don't know how the coaching works. If there's somebody up and watching the replay really fast, that's probably how it goes. But the replays they were showing, it was like, yeah, maybe. But I didn't think, from the replays they were showing, I didn't think it would have been overturned.
I think what was the most telling was that Devontae Smith was the one going, let's get to the line and get this playoff.
Yeah. That's usually a good sign.
Receivers think they catch everything. So if the receiver's like, let's go, might be a good idea to throw the red flag.
Right. Borsty, what were your thoughts on this game? I don't know how much you watched of it, but go ahead.
Yeah, it was not a good game. In my head, I did predict this before the game. I said it last week too, but like I didn't think
predicted Brock Purdy to get hurt.
No, just like the blowout. I didn't think that he was going to get hurt, but I thought the Eagles were going to win. And honestly, I think this was the worst championship game that we've had in years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember when the Vikings got blown out? That was a shame.
I've tried to incinerate that from my memory, but yeah, it's probably the worst one since then. Wasn't a fun watch. Scumbag City. You hate seeing that.
You hate to see it. You hate to see the Eagles going to the Super Bowl.
You know,
we'll get into predictions later, but I think the Chiefs are going to rinse them.
I don't hate Philadelphia as much as you guys do, and everybody in Minnesota does. I mean, they crushed us. Is it because of that game?
No,
is that why you hate them?
No, I just think they have scumbag fans to every like. They just act like, oh, I'm from Philadelphia, so I can act like a douchebag and an asshole. Basically.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could blame that on the people back in the day who started it, because now everyone just
now
follows
like
the
they got like it's like, oh, haha, look at this 12-year-old kid like swearing at this guy, like doing all this stuff. It's like they're just teaching their kids how to be jerks at the game, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
it's usually I don't know.
I was texting Jack last night. We were talking about this, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl in a little bit. But we were talking about how Philadelphia fans, he hates them so much because the fans, and that's why he hates the Eagles and probably the 76ers and teams like that. I don't think about it as the fans as much as like the players on the team. Like, for example, in the NBA, I hate the Suns because I hate Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and I hate the Grizzlies because I hate John Morant. I don't hate the Eagles that much because I like Jalen Hurts. Like,
I like Jalen Hurts too. I think like Jalen Hurts is a very likable guy.
Yeah, and there's
their offensive line is very likable.
Besides Nick Sirianni, there's not many people on the team that I don't like.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm not.
Thinks he's not a huge silly guy, and I can't wait to see it turn sour for Nick Sirianni and him to have to answer all the scumbag fans the next couple of years.
He's sort of on the.
It will happen.
It's not the same exact path, but the Matt LaFleur path. And it's different because like Matt LaFleur has Aaron Rodgers, who is old, and Hurts is probably going to be there for.
And Aaron Rodgers is ready to take the blame from the Packers fans already because
he's just but LaFleur, people are all like, "Oh, this guy's the greatest coach ever." No, Aaron Rodgers.
Next year.
Give them any other quarterback the last 4 or 5 years, and they would have been dog crap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So LaFleur is not that good of a coach. Sirianni, on the other hand, I can't wait for his humbling moment.
Yeah, but this game was over at halftime. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which was a shame.
For the most part,
I agree.
These playoffs, for the most part, have been pretty underwhelming, in my opinion. Not a lot of great games.
I don't know.
I think last week a couple.
I mean, there's been a couple good games.
The wild card weekend was probably the best weekend.
Yeah. But like the divisional round, looking back on it, Chiefs, Jags was okay. 49 Giants, Eagles was not a good game.
Jags, Chargers was good.
Yeah, that was wild card. Jags, Chargers was good. The Vikings, Giants was a good game for people to watch, not us, but I'm blanking on the other games, but
I'm looking it up because
the Bills played the Miami, and that game was closer than people thought.
Cowboys.
And then the Cowboys-Bucks game, that was the worst game of the weekend. That was a blowout. That was on Monday. And then
the Cowboys 49ers was solid. It was fine.
Cowboys 49ers was an okay game. It was boring because it was not much scoring, but it was close. Bengals Bills was not a great game.
Yeah.
Giants Eagles not a good game, and the Jags Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are always
that's the division.
Solid game. Solid game.
I mean, and then the game yesterday, the Bengals and Chiefs, that was like it was a good game, but it wasn't like a phenomenal like, oh my god, this is the greatest game. It's not a Chiefs Bills back to back touchdowns in under 2 minutes game.
It was good.
Let's talk about that game real quick. I think we got enough out of that boring Eagles game. The Chiefs Bengals, it was, in my opinion, I think the defenses really showed out. I thought both defenses played really well. And Patrick Mahomes obviously came back and he played in the game with the high ankle sprain, which is pretty impressive. He looked pretty good. But the Bengals D was good. And the Chiefs D, especially in the first half, getting all the pressure on Joe Burrow. And then obviously the referees. Just awful. I mean, I wanted the Bengals to win because I'm not a huge Chiefs guy. And I just think, I don't know, for whatever reason, I think the Bengals are a more entertaining team and they haven't won. But I don't know. The refs were just awful. I mean, they were blocking the back on that punt return. The intentional grounding was iffy in that stage of the game.
That was an intentional grounding.
Yeah, but in that stage of the game, it's like, come on.
Well, you got to call it like you see it.
But
this is for someone who wanted the Chiefs and had money on the Chiefs, so I was
exactly.
I was pretty happy when the Chiefs were getting all these calls.
I also had
grounded.
I had the game muted during the time when they gave him that free playback. What the hell happened?
Crazy. That was probably the one where I was like, oh, like.
What happened?
Thing is, that one didn't matter. Like, they
ended up not mattering because they ended up punting.
The one that people can have a gripe about was maybe the block in the back, but that would have been an iffy call too on the punt.
I thought it was pretty clear.
I don't know, and I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Either way, all one-sided
but the roughing the passer call gets called 100 times out of 100.
That was 100% a penalty.
Sure.
Or whatever, the hit after the whistle, whatever you call it.
Oh, no, yeah.
Which play are you talking about?
That was a penalty. Are you talking about
also the one that Joe Burrow got hit. He got hit by, I think might have been, I don't remember who, Chris Jones maybe? But he got hit by Chris Jones on the 20, and there was no flag. And he took a couple steps, and that normally gets called. And that's where I would have the gripe with the Bengals is you got to be consistent.
It was just one-sided. And I do agree. That last play, and I don't know how that guy's leg isn't broken, but that last play was clearly a penalty, and I don't know what he was doing. But my point is, it was all one-sided. Whereas, whether you want to say it was a penalty or not, they're all against the Bengals, going against the Bengals.
The thing is, penalties aside, Joe Burrow had the ball with 2:30 left.
He did.
Yeah. And Jack texted me game, thinking that the Bengals were going to win at that point.
Yeah.
And
whenever I say
I think Joe Burrow's like I don't know. I don't want to go as big as that, but like that's a drive you got to make.
Yep.
And that's a championship drive right there. Penalties aside and all that. Like, you say they get screwed by the refs, whatever, but 2 timeouts, Joe Burrow, 2 minutes left.
Yep.
I think you got to drive down and get a field goal. And he was getting a little bit better protection than he was in the past. And they converted that big 3rd and 16.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. If you're going to be that type of quarterback, you got to make that type of drive.
And that's a game where the Chiefs are beatable because Patrick Mahomes had a sprained ankle and the Chiefs had no one to throw it to.
Yeah.
All their receivers were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Kadarius Toney was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Valdes-Scantling wasn't.
Hardman.
I think Hardman Valdes-Scantling a big game, but Hardman got hurt, and I think Juju got hurt too. So it was like Valdes-Scantling, Kelsey getting blanketed, and then they're throwing to 3 random tight ends,
right?
And Isaiah Pacheco for screen passes, basically.
Who's great, by the way.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's kind of fun to watch. He just looks like he's running so goddamn hard.
He runs mean.
But for the fact that if Mahomes had one more really good receiver, like when he had Tyreek Hill, they're virtually unstoppable. I think
But he
they're
doesn't
now.
even need Tyreek. Like he had better numbers this year than any other year, which is
I know,
crazy.
but I don't feel like they weren't as dominant.
No. Because in the past, you would be like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is on the 45-yard line with whatever it was, 20 seconds left or 30 seconds left. You're like, all right, this game's over. But like last night watching it, the game wasn't over at that point.
All year they've been throwing more. Their like yards per attempt is way down. And I just think as a team, they're not as dominant. And for that reason, the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
No, they're not.
Disagree, but going back to this Bengals game, I think the most important injury that happened in the season for any team was the Bengals offensive line getting hurt.
Well, yeah,
because it got kind of it got massed in the Buffalo game, either because it was snowy out and there wasn't good footing for the pass rushers, or Buffalo didn't have Von Miller and no pass rush. But you had Kansas City's two guys getting to the quarterback consistently, and Joe Burrow having to get rid of the ball and not letting the routes develop downfield. So I just think that was. I mean, you could argue the 49ers QB injuries, but I just think that game would have been completely different if Joe Burrow had extra 0.5 to 1 second in the pocket every play.
If you were to predict right now who's going to be the Super Bowl favorite next year, right now, do you think you have to wait for the Super Bowl to be finished? But like right now, who do you think is like the favorite to win the whole thing next year?
I think it's just whoever wins the Super Bowl.
But I think it could be the Bengals.
Yeah, you're right.
Remember how the Bills last year opened up as favorites?
Yeah.
That could be the Bengals this year, but
they were favorites for a majority of the year.
Yeah,
Bills are always at the top of those lists.
No, but they were in particular last year because
I think you're right that it'll be the Bengals this year. But I still think if the Eagles win the Super Bowl
or Chiefs,
the Eagles might.
I think whatever team wins the Super Bowl, they're going to be tied for the top, if not the top.
Yeah.
But Bengals be a good argument. 49ers just have too much question marks at quarterback.
Yes, they're not going to be out there. Yeah.
Bengals.
Yeah, probably. Either the Bengals, I think the Bengals, Chiefs, or Eagles, yeah. All right. Should we talk a little bit of Super Bowl preview? We're going to do a bigger episode at some point before the game. But right now, early impressions, Eagles, Chiefs, Andy Reid playing against Philadelphia.
Kelsey brothers.
Kelsey brothers, some storylines. I think this is a good game. I think this will be a good game. I think it will. I think, in my opinion, the Eagles are a more well-rounded team. Their defense is better, even though the Chiefs' defensive line is just fantastic.
The Chiefs' defense is low-key good.
But they haven't faced an offensive line like the Eagles. Like, the Bengals' offensive line is 10 tiers below the Eagles' offensive line. So I don't know how much pressure there. I don't think they're going to get much pressure on Hurts. It's whether
supposedly
Hurts
can Lane Johnson re-tore his groin again, or something. Like he's just going to tear his groin every single game that he plays in until he gets surgery on it. Like that doesn't sound too fun.
No,
but
yeah,
have you seen the videos of him going offsides every single play?
I saw that. I saw that.
Like, do you think the refs see that and are gonna maybe call one or two of those in the Super Bowl, or what happens?
I don't know. I think a big factor in this game is who's the referee in the Super Bowl.
They've definitely announced that. Let me do a little research, but
they'll get the best unit.
All right, who of the refs you know, Lewis? How many? I don't know how many refs you know, Borsty. I feel like Lewis would know refs.
I know who one is.
That's something Lewis would know.
It's umpire Roy Ellison. I don't recognize this guy as much.
No, that's not a ref. I know almost every single. That's not a referee.
I only know who one is.
Who?
Jerome Boger.
Yeah, Jerome Boger. He was in the game last night.
No, that's Ron Tolbert.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Ron Tolbert. My favorite ref, I think, is Bill Vinovich. I think he's really good. I think
who's the guy that was jacked and he was
Ed Hockley.
Yeah, Ed Hockley. Isn't his son a ref?
Yep, Sean Hockley. He's a good ref. I like Clete Blakeman. I think he's a good ref.
Clete Blakeman. Oh, it's Carl Sheffers.
Oh, classic! He's the one that cried during the game this year. There's a video of him.
Why?
All right, no, I have to find this.
There's a great name of the replay official that's doing the Super Bowl, Mike Butterworth. What a name!
Wait, who has the Super Bowl? Is it NBC?
I think it's Fox.
Fox has it?
Is it?
I think it's
NBC was
Fox.
last year. Yeah, it's Fox.
That'd be great. That'd be good. Greg Olson and Kevin Burkhardt on it. I don't hate
And
that.
unfortunately, CBS has it next year.
Well, I mean, it rotates, so.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have
All
it every
right.
3 years.
I'm pulling up a video of Carl Sheffers crying while making a call. It was this year in the Raiders-Chiefs game. The fans were all over him. And I think he started choking up during a call.
Oh, I
wait,
kind of
yeah,
remember
I think I've
that.
seen this. Yeah. I think I've seen this.
Let's see here.
Carl Sheffers.
Yeah, this was on Twitter.
Yeah, no, it's funny as hell. If I can figure this out. Oh, okay. Let me know if you can hear this. I gotta share my screen. This is worth it. It's funny. Share screen. Chrome tab. Ref starts crying. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Play for blocking the back. I know.
You'd have to know what this guy sounds like. That is not his voice. Let's
Start over.
No, I don't think he's crying. I just think he had like
Start
a
over.
tough.
There's no foul in play for blocking the back. I know.
He's crying.
One more time.
There's no foul in play for blocking the back. I know.
And you'd have to know that during this game, he was getting ripped. So I'm pretty sure something was going
Oh
on.
my, that is embarrassing.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's funny.
There's no foul for blocking.
All right. Anything else? I mean, we talked about both the games. Not that eventful of games. The second game was a little better. The Super Bowl should be a good game, but we'll talk
Do we
about
think
that.
Pat
another
Mahomes
time.
is going to be like running in the
Yes.
Super Bowl, or is he going to be limping around?
He'll be good. He could play yesterday, and he looked fine. He has 2 weeks, right?
That definitely made it worse, though. Like he's probably back to square one. Like it's not going to like that time from the injury doesn't heal.
Okay, he's got 2 weeks. I'm not concerned.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. The argument is though that it's normally like a 4-week injury.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some of the head coaching / quarterback rumors / controversies going on. First of all, I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers because Schefter came out yesterday and said that the Packers are probably going to move him. And the Jets hired Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator, put 2 and 2 together.
Lewis's favorite coach.
Put 2 and 2 together, and it only makes sense that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the new quarterback of the New York Jets, right?
Robert Salah.
I hope so.
I think it makes sense, and I think that team is pretty set. Like
Good
their
weapons,
defense is
good
good.
defense.
Their weapons are
subpar
all
coaching.
right.
Subpar
Get
coaching.
Rodgers to the AFC. The AFC is going to be absolutely loaded with quarterbacks. It's absurd.
It already is.
It's different. Yeah, but like that's a 3-time MVP going to the AFC. So
Yeah,
like who's the
four-time
NFC?
actually. 4-time MVP.
4-time. Apologies.
Who are the best quarterbacks in the NFC if Aaron Rodgers leaves? I mean,
Well, Kirk, Hurts.
Jesus, Mark.
Brady.
Yeah, it's like Hurts,
It's Hurts and then probably Kirk.
Brady.
Kirk is
Daniel
well,
Jones,
if Brady
probably like
plays,
top 5.
Dak sucks. Geno Smith, no. Jared Goff,
Daniel
no.
Jones, Danny Dimes.
Goff, yes. Goff is up there.
Goff is fine.
He's in a great system there.
Whatever.
But yeah, the NFC quarterbacks are dog crap. Compared to the
I think
AFC,
Brady to the Niners.
AFC, Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Right.
Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Tua. I mean, geez, Aaron
I'm
Rodgers.
not
Bryce
gonna lie.
Young. Bryce Young.
Kellen Moore. Speaking of coaching hires, Kellen Moore going to the Chargers.
Not a good hire.
I
Love
disagree.
it.
I think that's
Love
a good
it.
hire.
His average depth downfield is 9 yards, which is like way more than they were throwing this year. And
Mhm.
Justin Herbert needs to throw the ball downfield. And I
That's
think
true.
that'll be good.
Herbert is a hell of a lot better than Dak, so that could be good.
And now for the Cowboys, I think Sean Payton wants that job, but he's not going to get it.
No, Sean
Mike
Payton's
McCarthy.
going to stick at Fox for a year.
Yep.
Just trust me here. Cowboys are going to start 0-2 after McCarthy's calling plays.
Mhm.
They're going to fire him and bring Sean Payton in.
No,
It's
they're not
gonna
going to fire
happen.
mid-season.
Possible.
But
Yeah, I don't
No.
know. Jack, it's just dumb. that that video I sent you earlier.
It's so dumb that it's brilliant. No, it's just dumb.
Of Dak not a Dak Prescott, of Mike McCarthy calling the plays. Just dumb. What are they doing?
Dumb.
Mike McCarthy
Jerry Jones,
sucks.
you're getting older. You're running out of time to win a Super Bowl before Jerry passes away, unfortunately.
But it's like, what else could he do? That team was built besides Dak, but it's not like you're
get Sean Payton.
Dude,
I don't know how much it's. I think Dak is the issue.
Lewis.
I think Dak's the issue too.
Quarterback. It's get a quarterback. Why don't they trade for Rodgers?
Are they gonna have to cut him?
For Rodgers?
Like they just re-signed Dak and Zeke to long deals.
No, he's their quarterback. They're just going to keep struggling. They're going to be good. They're going to be.
You don't deserve a Super Bowl if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah,
their defense is going to be good for years because they have a lot of young players. And their offense, they have CD and Tony Pollard and Zeke's.
They have a weapons. Free agent. They don't have the quarterback.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Tony Pollard's a free agent. Jerry Jones will just pay up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a salary cap in the NFL. If it was baseball, he'd pay up, but
I don't know how you can go into next season with Zeke.
Salary cap, point of order, salary cap went up by a lot this offseason.
How much?
It came out today. It was 208, now it's 224. So that's a big jump.
Yeah, that's significant.
It's the largest jump ever in the salary cap.
But
what about DeMeco Ryans going to the Texans? Great hire. DeMeco Ryans is a great coach, so I'm excited to see what will be.
What about Frank Reich to the Panthers?
What a snooze hire. Who cares?
He's a good coach.
Who's he gonna call? Well, who's gonna be their quarterback? Sam Darnold?
Yeah, you're the QB, you're the QB whisperer, and look what you did in Indy. Did they just forget to ask him about what happened in Indy or what?
If you give him a quarterback, I think he could do something special. I think he's a good coach.
I mean, he had quarterbacks that became worse. He had quarterbacks come to Indy that got worse there.
They were all washed up.
They were worse. They were better the year before, and Indy has a good old line. No, Frank Reich he's fine. He's probably I thought he was a good coach for a while. I mean, when they had Phillip Rivers in Indy, they were sort of like doing stuff.
It's just like
Carson
the
Wentz,
definition.
Matt Ryan, 50-year-old Rivers.
It's just the definition of a snooze hire, whatever.
The Titans are a snooze. He's going to the Panthers.
Panthers.
Side
Panthers
note,
are a
Titans
snooze organization.
So are the Titans. I just wanted to say that.
I like Vrabel though. Vrabel's a great guy.
Oh my God, they're doomed. They are doomed. The Titans they're probably going to win 4 games next season.
At some point, they're going to not be.
That's not on Vrabel. Vrabel got the most out of everything.
Vrabel's a great coach.
Dude,
at some point, their lack of talent, their lack of talent is going to catch up to them.
But you see Vrabel have a meltdown. Have you seen the video of Vrabel having a meltdown during the draft when they traded away AJ Brown to the Eagles?
I didn't see that.
Well, their GM.
Well, I mean, it's not he just stood up and was like, "Oh, what are we doing?" And the GM got fired because partly because of that trade.
Yeah, but I mean, look at their quarterback. I mean, you're not going to do anything there, especially that AFC.
Who are the Broncos going to hire now, though?
I don't know.
All right.
Talk, any idea?
Wait, what? I was going to play the Vrabel video.
Who are the Broncos going to hire?
Well, I've read that they're in on DeMeco, but he's probably going to.
No, they're not. DeMeco told him no today.
Yeah, somebody. I don't think anybody wants to be their coach. I don't think anyone wants to coach there.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I don't know. I haven't even heard.
People are going to want to. If you're an offense coordinator and you've never been a head coach before, people don't have the luxury of saying, "Oh, I don't want to coach for you," except for Sean Payton.
But a top name or established somebody that everybody wants, they're not going to Denver.
Yeah.
Denver is a solid market.
No star player and no picks.
They always have solid rosters. Their quarterback.
They have a good defense. They were a top 5 defense for most of the year.
How much do you think this past year was on Russell versus Hackett?
I think it's on Russ.
60-40 Russ. 60-40 Hackett.
How do you? There's no way you can be he was good. There's no way he could become that bad.
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you watch him?
Yeah, but did he get?
I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna say 60-40 Hackett.
I think it's got to be Hackett.
Do you think Hackett's gonna be good as the OC of the Jets?
I don't know. I mean,
I think he will.
He got a job. He got a head coaching job because the Broncos thought Rodgers was coming to Denver.
That's true. That is true.
And now he got an OC job because he thinks that Rodgers is going to the Jets.
Teams are just using him.
Yeah, just for Rodgers. Oh man,
certainly Aaron Rodgers to play for one more year then quit.
What's Zach Wilson's career gonna like? Where does he go from here?
Backup, career backup.
Who wants him as a backup?
I think he's gonna be a new, just fresh start.
As a starter?
No,
Darnold,
maybe. Who knows?
Be like Darnold.
So you're saying some team will take a chance on him?
Yeah, he's a number 2 pick.
Maybe the Titans.
Maybe the Panthers. Frank Reich could do right with him.
Yeah, who knows? QB whisperer, Frank Reich. That won't be a disaster.
Frank Reich, Zach Wilson, what a duo.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, every time I see a Panthers game, that field, that stadium,
so bad.
Whatever the reason, their jerseys, everything just looks boring. Like,
I agree.
Who wants to be a Panthers fan?
They're like the Charlotte
Hornets. Who wants to be on the Panthers?
Dude, they're like the Charlotte Hornets of the NFL. Same city too.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
no, Charlotte's just a random place. Not who wants to go there. Nobody. Tennessee at least seems like a cool place to live.
That's true. Zach Wilson to the Panthers with Frank Reich. I think, do we just make that prediction right now?
that seems like a match made in heaven.
Wait, you just say that Tennessee? It's in North Carolina.
No,
we're talking
about the Titans after.
Oh. That comment just threw me off for a second.
We said Charlotte would be awful to live in.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Nashville would be cool to live in.
Yeah, true.
Lewis's favorite, Clay Travis, lives in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Side note, question. What's your favorite stadium and least favorite stadium?
In Minnesota or?
No, in the NFL.
Well, let's just say other than US Bank Stadium. But
yeah, no, you can't say US Bank.
Oh, probably Georgia, the Atlanta Stadium.
That's like one of the newest one. I don't know.
This is a good question.
It is a good question. I gotta think for a second.
I'll go Atlanta, and my least favorite would be Soldier Field.
Yeah, that's like the worst one. It's kind of a cool location, though. I'll give Soldier Field that.
I think Soldier Field looks cool.
Yeah, like when they show it from the skyline or from the blimp or whatever, it looks pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know, probably.
Actually, my favorite is Arrowhead. I'll go Arrowhead as my favorite.
Arrowhead's just in the middle of nowhere, though.
It's cool.
For whatever reason, I always enjoy watching.
Oh, you in Buffalo?
Are they getting a new one?
They're getting a new one. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but they're getting a new one.
Sleeper pick on my behalf. For whatever reason, I always love watching games at the Cardinals Stadium. I don't know why.
Then you'll enjoy the Super Bowl.
True. I've always been a dome guy. I way prefer domes.
You know what's a cool stadium is the Seahawks Stadium, though.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Even though I'm not a big Seahawks guy, but also Jerry's World, just the Cowboys Stadium is pretty cool. AT&T.
Yeah. Worst stadium. Oh, you know what? San Fran. I like Levi Stadium.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's new. The new one? Yeah, there's a new one. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, though.
Worst stadium. Tied. FedEx Field, Washington, and.
Oh yeah, that's the worst stadium.
Washington, for sure.
Carolina. That sucks. Tennessee sucks. Houston might be the most boring stadium. I mean, it's
new though, isn't it?
No.
Well, the
pretty boring. I mean, think of Indianapolis is like a fine stadium, but it's not like.
I think it's a good stadium.
Yeah, how about this? Ford Field, boring stadium, fine stadium.
I like watching games at Ford Field.
Yeah, but just
it just looks like there's going to be a million points.
That's true.
Yeah, and then most of the time in the last 10 years, it's been 3/4 full, and it's
yeah.
Now they'll be good.
Not this year.
That's what I'm saying.
Any other any other quarterbacks as coaches that are sort of up for rumors?
Yeah. What happens when the Jets are 2-7? Rodgers didn't go there, and the play calling is just terrible. What happened?
Is Robert Salah gone?
I got a question. What's the next step in Cleveland?
In Cleveland?
Is Stefanski going to be back?
I didn't think he was good.
I think they're talking about having OJ come out and be their coach, actually.
OJ Simpson?
That wouldn't go well.
That would not go well.
I didn't think Stefanski was very good this year. A lot of
I was like, who the hell's OJ? And the only OJ that came to mind was OJ Simpson.
Well, yeah, they're hiring a bunch of convicts on their team anyway. Like, why not?
Talk about a match made in heaven. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like random teams that are just in no
Cleveland's
man's
just
land.
an absolute Cleveland. Talk about
that's just a team in no man's land.
Any team that's in like bottom half of the AFC is just absolutely screwed because
like
you have no.
The Steelers are done.
No, they're not.
No, the Steelers are up on the up and up. Kenny Pickett's fine. George Pickens is going to be a very good receiver.
Mike Tomlin's just proven year after year that he's a good coach. Like 90% of our other coaches, that team is going like 6 and 11.
Who are those teams then? So we got the Texans, the
Commanders. They're not going anywhere.
No,
Commanders aren't going anywhere.
AFC teams.
Okay.
Texans.
Las Vegas. Who's going to be their quarterback? Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, Vegas is another one unless they get Rodgers.
Vegas has some good players. Josh Jacobs, Devontae.
I thought Vegas was going to be good before this year.
I did too. Before this year, I thought Derek Carr was a good quarterback.
I did.
But
I thought he's the definition of an average quarterback.
Well, yeah, looking back now, obviously he wasn't good at all. But
who's better, Dak or Carr?
They're both like even, honestly, probably.
Maybe Dak by a little bit.
Dak because he's like younger and maybe like there's like, oh, you never know. But
Indianapolis ain't going nowhere.
Yep.
Who's gonna be they're drafting a quarterback, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a top 5 pick.
How about if Baltimore doesn't get Lamar back, which I think they will.
They will.
But then they're in no man's land.
Franchise tag. Baltimore gets hurt so much every single year. And they did just Baltimore's got a new offensive coordinator coming in next year. Yeah. And I think that will change, spruce up some stuff. And they'll be
I'm not ready to put them there yet.
New England
no man's land.
Yep. They're a team that's just on a slow downhill spiral.
Well, it's like we're bringing back Bill O'Brien. Like, he's good. I don't know. That could help.
Have no good players.
Yeah.
No, it's roster issues.
Yeah, their offense sucks. All right. Well, that's a good exercise.
Who else is there?
Well, in the AFC,
Titans
there's
are probably the biggest one.
Titans are going to get the first overall
pick. I guess see Cleveland. It's just what are they going to go next year? Like 7 and 9.
Well, it's like, is Deshaun Watson that bad just because he hasn't played in forever, and just because like he got just like thrown into week 10 or 11 or whatever it was, or is he going to be like have a full off season and is he going to be back to a resemblance of Deshaun?
I think he'll be better than what we saw.
Yeah, I think
he can't get worse. So
yeah, he's better. He's better in an offense like he had in Houston, where he's sort of throwing it a ton and he's sort of running around. I think this offense where he's handing the ball off a bunch.
I agree. To Chubb, handing it to Chubb like every play.
Because it's not like he had back-end of weapons in Houston. It was like Will Fuller. I don't even know who else he had.
Well, he had Hopkins. He had DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, yeah. Good player. But, yeah, I don't know. Cleveland's weird.
Is Flores going to take the Cardinals job? I hope he doesn't get it.
I hope he doesn't get it. I hope he becomes a Vikings defensive coordinator.
That's best case scenario. Let's talk about that real quick. Besides Flores, this guy Ryan Nielsen just became the Saints DC, right? And then Sean Desai, the Seahawks guy, I don't really want him because their defense sucked. And I don't know who the other one is.
I need a real shot to get Flores because the Flores are they going to want Flores and Kyler together? That doesn't seem like that would work.
That's awful. That is awful.
So like,
yeah, I mean, who wants to coach Kyler? That guy seems like just an asshole.
Yeah, but like, I feel like just for example, like, I'd rather have Kevin O'Connell coach Kyler than Brian Flores.
That's true.
Kevin O'Connell could coach anybody.
Okay, yeah, but like that type of guy, like Brian Flores is like no nonsense, like
yeah.
You know, he made Tua kind of suck.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tua had no weapons either.
Brian Flores and the Vikings defense coordinator would be fantastic.
Oh, so good. I think it'll happen if he doesn't get the job.
Let's hope.
Yeah. That's the first step, and the second step is get rid of about 10 players on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Kwesi is going to be cutting Kendricks, maybe Thielen. I hope not Harrison Smith because I still think he can play.
You can,
but
we'll get it done.
I don't know if Jordan Hicks is back. I don't know if Za'Darius is back.
I think Za'Darius is going to be back.
What the hell happened to Cam Dantzler at the end of the year?
I agree.
He was healthy. He just wasn't playing.
I agree.
That guy, is he back?
Is Lewis Dean going to be any good?
I don't know. They got a lot of question marks back there.
Cam Bynum? Is he going to be
Good
any
news
good?
is the offense is pretty set in stone besides Thielen.
Maybe a receiver would be helpful.
Dalvin.
Like
Dalvin.
You know what the Vikings should do? 6th or 7th round pick on a running back. 6th or 7th rounder. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th rounder.
We got our Ty Chandler.
Fine, give him reps.
They're going to cut. They could cut Dalvin
and Madison.
That's
I don't want Madison. I don't like him. He does no explosiveness. He just runs for 8 yards and 2 yards and 1 yard.
8 yards.
Look at what the Chiefs have done with Pacheco. He's a 7th round pick.
That's true.
Yeah,
Pacheco,
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
You've been on this for a long time, and I give you credit.
Get somebody that can be explosive and doesn't fumble. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And Pacheco is sort of, I don't know, Pacheco sort of fumbles a little bit.
Pacheco's a gem.
But you don't need to spend up there. I would if we have any money to spend, maybe right guard and maybe one more receiver instead of
Agreed.
Thielen.
Oh, and we should re-sign Bradbury.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about a comeback year.
Totally.
Maybe the comeback player of the year for the Vikings.
For our team.
Yeah. People hated his guts.
That was the one. It's like, that's the one guy that everybody ripped, and he was good. I don't
He was
know
good
why
this year.
He good.
He really was.
Yeah. All right. Well, good NFL talk. It got my mind off the Wolves. I forgot they even played tonight. They'll be back on Wednesday, where they'll probably lose 2 in a row because Steph Curry's coming to town. But the Warriors lose every game on the road too. Did they win tonight against the Thunder, Borsty?
They did.
All right.
But we're better than the Thunder.
And that was NBA talk.
All right. Well, we'll be back probably next week to talk more about the Super Bowl. There will probably be another episode regarding just plain Wolves talk because the Wolves are playing good basketball. They should have won tonight, but they didn't. I don't know what seed they are now, but
7.
Yeah. What are the Wild doing right now?
They're on break.
The All-Star break?
Yep.
Yeah, they're in Cancun or Cabo or something right now, except for Krill. He's wherever the All-Star game is. I don't even know where it is.
It's in
Is
Florida.
he the only All-Star guy?
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah.
Why not like Dumb?
Every team only gets one because it's 3-on-3.
Well, yeah, I wish the NBA did that.
The NBA's got to figure out. Although the thing they're doing this year for the All-Star game, did you hear what they're doing with the
Yeah,
draft?
they're picking the teams right before.
They're picking the teams right before. That's a good idea.
That's kind of cool. What about the NFL All-Star Pro Bowl game? It's not even a game.
Flag
It's just a bunch
football.
of like random flag.
Yeah.
Eli Manning and Peyton Manning.
It's
I might-
literally
I might-
flag football. Could it get dumber than that?
Yeah, but like
I might tune in.
I never like. Who cares about two-hand touch football with full pads? Like,
I think this is
Whatever.
a good idea. Better
I
idea.
think it's a good idea too.
You cancel the game.
Well, they
No.
just do a bunch of other like crap too. Like they do like dodgeball and like
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
cool.
I don't know.
It's cool.
How many
Better than
Vikings
watching
players are going?
people
Is
just
Kirk
not-
going, right?
Kirk, JJ, Dalvin.
Everyone goes to the Pro Bowl. I don't know. Like everyone goes to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's big rosters.
Yeah,
And then there's a
six
million-
quarterbacks from each
Yeah.
division.
And then
That's because the injuries.
Yeah,
And then
And
there's
Super Bowl.
the top 2 teams aren't playing in the Pro Bowl, and that's a bunch of players on each team. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, good episode. We talked a lot about the NFL, a lot of random teams, a lot of trashing the Panthers and the Titans, and
Frank Reich and
a
Nathaniel
lot of
Hackett.
Panthers talk. A lot of Panthers talk in this podcast.
it's just funny. I mean, they're
Panthers might
more
have
relevant.
got more talk than the Eagles did. The Eagles are going.
Hey,
All right.
Frank Reich is a good coach.
One last question: What is the most irrelevant sports franchise of the 4 major sports?
It's the Hornets.
Oh, you're not going to like my answer.
It's
Not
not
the Wolves.
Lewis.
It is not. The Wolves made the playoffs last year. They're on the up and up.
We have the future of the league on our team.
No, I am definitely going to the NHL for this one.
It's not Tuck.
Then you say like the Ottawa Senators or something.
I can't remember the last time I saw an Ottawa Senators team play a meaningful game.
I have a good one.
You go.
Daniel Alfredson and Jason Spezza.
No. Are you ready for this?
What?
The Cincinnati Reds.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of pointless baseball teams out there. Like the Pirates, they stink.
I don't know.
Great stadium.
I see like
Great
Pirates
stadium.
highlights sometimes.
Well, that's just you pay attention to more baseball than you do like hockey.
Like the Senators aren't even a thing.
Yeah.
No. What about what about the Oakland Athletics? Like other than Moneyball, what do they have?
No, they still get relevancy because of everything.
Because of Moneyball. Other than Moneyball, what do they have?
They were good for a few years.
They make headlines. It's
Sure.
the Reds. It's the Hornets. It's
the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know. They got LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Mason Plumlee, Kelly Oubre. I mean, the list goes on and on.
What about the
like
Wizards?
the Rockets? Like the Rockets or like Oklahoma City when they're bad? Like no one's
It's not one of those.
It's a team that hasn't been on
the Wizards
anything in years.
Wizards.
And when's the last?
Yeah, the Senators might be it.
The Senators have. The last time I saw them play was me playing with them in like NHL 08.
Yeah, that's a good point. Except Ryan Reynolds is going to buy them, so
yeah,
that's a thing now.
Good discussion. I think about that sometimes. Most irrelevant. I think it is always the Senators always pop up. That team hasn't been a thing in it forever. All right, good talk. We'll be back next week again. To talk about whatever we want to talk about, the Super Bowl. But everybody like and subscribe to the JT Sports Show. This is a late one. It's almost 11 o'clock Central Time. But thank you for listening. Other than that, we gone.